I don't drink tequila.
Try Sansamia.
I don't drink bourbon.
Try this Durban.
No thanks, brandy.
Hide this candy.
No gin and tonic.
Growing hydroponic. If you don't like puffin' and your situation's roughin', you can munch the mighty muffin with a jive cake stuffin'. Jive cake stuffin', no sense of roughing it. Jive cake stuffin', if you're toughin' it. Jive cake stuffin', no need for puffin' it. Jive cake stuffin', when you can muffin it. If you don't like puffin' and your situation's roughin', you can munch the mighty muffin with the jive cake stuffin'.
Hello! Welcome to another episode of Baking a Fool of Myself. I'm your host, Watermelon. I have so many fun recipes I'm going to show you how to make at home today. And we're going to begin with cannabis conversion. Our first show, we showed you how to convert cannabis 3 different ways. But this show, we wanted to take it a step further. We wanted to delve even deeper into the science behind cannabinoid conversion. And for that, I've brought a special guest on today. It's one of Canada's foremost cannabinoid scientists. His name is Dr. Paul Hornby. Please welcome Dr. Paul Hornby. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you again.
It's great to have you in my kitchen. This is very exciting. Wow. I attempted on the last show to discuss cannabis conversion, and I have to confess that even I'm not certain about what cannabis conversion is. So I have some questions that I've written, and I'm hoping you can answer them for me. Sure. My very first question, very simply, is what are cannabinoids?
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids.
They're a group of compounds peculiar to the cannabis plant. There are traces of cannabinoids found in hops, but rarely other places, and they're located in what are called trichomes on the plant. There's a little blebs because they're resins, so they're secreted outside the plant onto little balls called trichomes.
So that's why you have to heat cannabis, because how you decarboxylate it is by heating it to a certain temperature, and the heat knocks the carbon off.
CO2. Yeah.
Knocks the CO2. How long and at what temperature approximately do you want to convert your cannabis at?
That is a very difficult question to answer because it varies depending on the raw material that you start with. A common mistake, I've seen it time and time again, when I run analysis of oral preps or edible preps, is that the THC is only half converted. Roughly 50% is converted to the alcohol, as it's called, or the active delta-9. The reason for that is either the temperature wasn't high enough or it wasn't heated long enough. It's one of the two. And another important thing is you want to keep the pressure fairly constant. You don't want it open to atmosphere while you're heating it, so you want a lid on it or it's sealed up somehow.
Couldn't you then start burning off the things you want to keep? Like if you get too high, if your temperature's too heat and you start seeing smoke, which is different from steam, then you're burning it.
Then you're burning it.
I usually grind my grind my shake into a fine powder, and then I pour the oil on, and then I cook it. But Dr. Hornby has suggested to cook it dry. Can you explain why you feel that cooking it dry first before adding the oil or the fat is beneficial?
The decarboxylation bell curve will happen at a lower temperature in dry cannabis and a higher temperature in cannabis in an oil, for example. Say you extracted your trichomes into oil and then heated it up, decarboxylation would occur at a higher temperature than if it's dry in an oven. Working with medicinal people, people licensed to use cannabis therapeutically, 80% of the people licensed that I've worked with are managing chronic pain, which is a 24/7 terrible condition. And I've had so many of these people thank myself for helping them feel better. Complete turnarounds at time, but it's profuse thank yous that come to working directly with medicinal users that I find tremendous. I've told a number of medical doctors that if they ever were to prescribe natural cannabis, they would get a lot of thank yous.
Oh yeah, they don't get many thank yous?
Not for prescribing OxyContin. I haven't heard of anyone getting a thank you for that.
Well, here we have a scientist doing the Lord's work. I just want to say thanks so much, Dr. Paul Hornby, for coming on the show, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Give me a big hug, actually.